Who's on the Galaxy S10e?
All set.
Good morning. What's your name? Can you hear me? Gentleman with the red shirt on, can you hear me? Sir with the red shirt on, can you hear anything? Okay, let me see if I can find this out. Okay, I see. Let's say Andrews, Jerome is here for Ingham County, Jablonski. I see Assyria Bailey. Which matter are you here on?
Your Honor, we're here on this matter. Soraya was the one who was injured by the dog, so she was subpoenaed to come testify this morning, as well as her mother, who is here as well.
Okay, wait, Soraya, you said Bailey?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And that's a victim on
Yes.
the Ingham County? Okay, thank you. I'm gonna put you back on mute. Okay, was Eric Johnson?
Yes.
Which matter are you here on?
Plunkett Cooney versus Pizza Phone Systems.
Okay. There's someone here on a Galaxy S10e. I'm assuming they can't hear anything because they're not responsive.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay, what's your name?
Delano Stevenson.
And which matter are you here for?
Synchrony Bank.
Is that dismissed from the docket or something? Do you have a case number, sir?
Shoot. I don't, Your Honor. I'm in my car right now. I'm sorry.
I mean, there was one on here, but it got. Okay. And your name is who? Is what again?
Delano Stevenson.
Delano Stevenson. Is this for a civil matter or a criminal matter?
Civil. I got an email said I had to be to court today.
Who did the email come from?
One of the clerks.
That doesn't narrow it down for me, sir. What's the case name if you don't know the case number?
I don't have it handy.
You're not on my docket, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of Plunkett Cooney PC versus Pizza Phone Services or Systems LLC and Josh Rowe. File number is 19-01897GC. Counsel, can I have your appearance?
Yes. Eric Johnson on behalf of Plunkett Cooney, P85017.
Thank you. Today was the date that was set for a hearing. It was a motion to set aside dismissal. The plaintiff filed a motion with a brief in support of its motion to reinstate the case and enforce the settlement. Case was dismissed without prejudice because the parties entered into a settlement agreement, and it sounds like the defendants did not uphold their end. Is that accurate, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, well, the defendants have not responded to your motion, and they have not appeared here today to offer any dispute as to the contents of your motion, so the court will grant your request and reinstate the case. did attach an order here.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court will grant your order. And it'll be signed and dated as of today. Do you have any questions for the court today, sir?
I do not. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're all set. Okay, I think that was from that line. Okay, we're on the record in the matter of Ingham County Animal Control versus Alyssa Pitts. File number is 21-023779GZ. Can I have your appearance, counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Timothy Perone appearing on behalf of the petitioner, Ingham County Animal Control.
Thank you. I see Alyssa Andrews. Could you unmute, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you Miss Alyssa Andrews?
I am, yes.
Okay. Do you have an attorney representing you today at all?
I do not.
Okay. This is the date and the time set for a hearing on a dangerous animal proceeding. Do we need to address anything preliminary before we begin with the proofs?
Yes, Your Honor. We presented 3 proposed exhibits, being 3 photographs that were attached to the complaint. Mrs. Cherry at the court may have separated those for the court's review. The respondent was provided a copy of those 3 photographs together with the rest of the complaint.
That's what these are, right? Oh, these are hers. Are these his or something? Where's the pictures? Got it. Okay, they haven't been marked. Yes, I have hers marked. I don't see his marked. Let me see. I can unstaple it. No, there's no staple in here. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Perone, you say you have 3 exhibits. Okay, I do see them here. And then, Ms. Andrews, you also submitted exhibits, that's correct?
Correct. Yes. And I did I talked with the court clerk yesterday, and I did email them over to the address that she provided, which was Judge Simmons courtroom at lansingmi.gov.
Okay, I have exhibits for the defendant. I think there are A, B. I have exhibits A through K. Mr. Perone, did you get a copy of those?
No, Your Honor.
I don't. Can you just boot me out? Oh, Zoom. That was weird. Okay, you say you did not get a copy of those exhibits?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Andrews, those exhibits, I guess, when you provided them to us, you also needed to have provided them to Mr. Perone. We're gonna have him scanned a copy at this time, okay?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Perone, what's your email address?
It is T Perrone, TPERRONE at CSTMLAW.com.
Thank you. Okay, we're off the record for a moment so that that can be scanned to you.
Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
would it be possible for us to get a copy of those as well?
Okay. Are you an attorney?
Yes, I am. Lauren Kissel with the Sinus Ramus Law Firm.
Okay. When I put the counsel's appearance on the record, you did not put yours on the record.
Okay, my apologies. I'm not appearing in any official capacity. We're just representing Miss Bailey in her tort case. So I'm just here to kind of sit in and listen today.
Okay. What's your email address?
It's Lauren, LAUREN, at Sinus Dramus, SINASDRAMIS.com.
Which is Lauren at sinusstreamus.com. No last
Yes.
name?
Correct.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Lauren, what's your last name and P number?
My last name is Kissel, KISSEL. P number is 82971.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Perone, did you get a copy of the exhibits? Oh, you're muted.
Yes, Your Honor, I have them. I'm looking at them right now.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready.
Oh. I've looked at them, Your Honor.
Okay, very well. Let's go back on the record in the matter of Ingham County Animal Control versus Alyssa Andrews. The parties have exchanged their exhibits at this point. Any additional preliminary matters before we proceed?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Perone, you can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I call Officer Catherine Jablonski, Ingham County Animal Control.
Officer Jablonski, can you please raise your right hand? Please solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is true to the best of your knowledge, information, or belief.
I do.
Thank you. Can you please state and spell your last name for the record?
Catherine Jablonski, first and last name Kathryn Joblonski.
Okay, counsel, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Jablonski, by whom are you employed?
Ingham County Animal Control
And in what position are you so employed?
as an animal control officer.
And what are your duties as animal control officer?
I'm sworn to enforce local ordinances and state laws pertaining to animals while protecting the public and animals within the county.
Are you familiar with a pit bull dog named King?
Yes,
Is that the dog that's the subject of this proceeding?
yes,
And is that dog owned by Alyssa Andrews?
yes,
And did you have occasion to conduct any investigation regarding that dog King?
yes.
And when was that?
We received a complaint about the subject dog on August 27th of 2021.
And what was the complaint regarding?
The complaint was regarding the subject dog had bitten a juvenile inside of the home at 5141 Hughes on August 26th of 2021.
And is that in the city of Lansing?
Yes, sir.
And in the course of your investigation, did you speak to Yashika Mize?
Yes.
And who is she?
She is the mother of the victim of the dog bite.
And what's the name of the victim of the dog bite?
Sierra Bailey.
Okay. And what did Yashika Mize report to you about the dog bite incident?
Yashika reported that the dog King had bitten Bailey in the face.
And is that while she was at the house at 5141 Hughes Road in the city of Lansing?
Yes, sir.
And what was her role as far as the aftermath of the dog bite incident?
Mize's role was taking Bailey to the hospital.
Do you know if Yashika Mize was a witness to the actual dog bite?
She was not.
Did Yashika Mize provide photos to you of the dog bite wounds of Soraya Bailey?
Yes,
Are those the photographs that are
yes,
submitted as proposed exhibits 1 and 2 in this case?
Yes, sir.
Did you, in the course of your investigation, did you speak to Alyssa Andrews?
Yes, I did.
And what did she tell you?
She advised me that she did not witness the incident, but when she did turn around, she saw injury to Bailey's face and viewed King on the ground as a misposition.
Did she admit to you that her dog bit Soraya Bailey?
She did not.
But she did indicate that Soraya Bailey was injured in the face.
Yes, sir.
Did you take the dog for quarantine at the Ingham County Animal Shelter?
Yes, sir.
Did you take a photograph of the dog?
Yes, sir.
Is the photograph of the dog you took the photograph that's been produced as proposed exhibit 3 in this case?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe the dog's behavior while it was at the Ingham County Animal Shelter?
The dog's behavior, he did show some signs of aggression, such as growling at the staff.
And was it the position of animal control to seek a show cause order in this case?
Yes, sir.
And you did obtain one from the court?
Yes, sir.
And it was served on Miss Andrews?
Yes, sir.
Was any citation issued in connection with this dog bite incident?
Yes, sir. She did receive a citation for a dog bite.
Has this dog been the subject of any prior complaints that have been reported to animal control?
He was in one prior complaint in September of 2021 on the 25th for a dog at large complaint.
Would that been a
September 2020.
2020
2020.
for a dog at large complaint?
Yes, sir.
Was Ms. Andrews cited in that incident?
Yes, sir, for the dog being unlicensed.
Where is the dog right now?
The dog is currently at Waverly Animal Hospital.
And that's pending further order of the court?
Yes, sir.
What is animal control's position as to the disposition of this animal?
We are looking for forfeiture of the animal to Ingham County Animal Control and humane euthanasia.
And why is that the position of animal control?
Due to the severity of the bite, an injury received by Bailey for unprovoked bite from the dog.
Is there any concern about the dog's behavior for the future?
Yes, sir.
Does that play into the animal control's position in this case?
Yes, sir.
What are the costs that are incurred as a daily rate for housing the dog at animal shelter?
The daily rate here is $78 a day.
And how many days was the dog held there under the court order?
9 days.
And is there a fee for euthanasia?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
$145.
Thank you. That's all the questions I have of this witness at this time. And I do move for the admission of exhibits 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you. Ms. Andrews, do you want to take your device off mute?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you received copies of the People's Exhibits 1, 2, and 3?
I did. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, any objection to those exhibits?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, those exhibits will be admitted without objection. Ms. Andrews, did you have any questions for Officer Jablonski?
Yes, Officer Jablonski. You stated that you took your statement from Yashika Mize on August 27th. Did you have the opportunity to speak with the victim, Soraya Bailey herself?
I did not.
Okay. And when you came to my home on August 27th to take King for quarantine, I had explained to you at that time that there's an extensive history of harassment, intimidation, and stalking behaviors, including the need for a PPO between the complainant and myself. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. With that information that I explained to you, did you consider ever that Mize's recount of the incident could be false or at least exaggerated?
I do not.
Okay. So within Ms. Mize's statement, it says that Mize had Bailey transported to McLaren emergency room by ambulance the same night, where she received medical care for her wounds, which did involve stitches. However, when your attorney had asked what Mize's role was, that you had stated that she had transported her daughter to McLaren emergency room. Is that correct?
Whatever was written in the report is what I wasn't told.
Okay, so according to the report, Mize had said that she had her daughter transported via ambulance to McLaren emergency room.
Yes.
Thank you. According to your testimony a few minutes ago, you had stated that Mize's role in this incident was to take her daughter to McLaren, to transport her daughter to McLaren for care.
You're correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to show this is only one of several inconsistencies in Mize's statement, that she was not a witness to the
Okay,
injury.
this is not the time, ma'am, this is not time for argument. This is time for cross-examination.
Okay. With the question surrounding the extensive history of harassment and intimidation, I would like to, at this time, place into evidence the PPO order between the complainant and myself.
Okay, is this a question for Officer Jablonski?
Nope, I'm just stating that so that the court knows that I'm placing that into evidence.
Okay, there's been no proper foundation. I don't know that a PPO is even relevant to this issue. I didn't get an objection though. Is there an objection? Because you're shaking your head.
Your Honor, I object to, I think, pretty much all of the exhibits that were proposed by the respondent in this case. They are, for the most part, irrelevant, outdated, have nothing to do with the issues before this court.
Okay. So the motion by Ms. Andrews was to admit Exhibit A at this point, which would be a personal protective order dated February 16th. I'm sorry, this is May 16th, 2018. The objection is to relevance. How is this relevant to the incident that occurred on August 26th, ma'am?
Absolutely. It is relevant. It speaks to the past behavior of the statement of the complainant who made the statement in the show cause packet of information. Multiple times she has lied just to create my family harm and pain, and this is just another opportunity for her to do.
Okay. The proposed Exhibit A will not be admitted. The court is going to deem this not relevant to the incident before the court. You can proceed with your cross-examination.
Okay. On September 8th, when you came back to get King after we had got him out of quarantine, you had said King was not so nice at the shelter. Why do you think that was?
I can't talk for the dog. The shelter can be a stressful environment. That's just what I know from the staff, that he was growling at them.
Okay. And when we picked King up on September 7th, the shelter staff felt safe enough at that time to bring him out on a normal leash and not the catch pole. Do you think that at that time they still considered him to be dangerous if they handled him in this way?
They originally brought him out on a catch pole and then transferred him over to a regular leash while in the lobby.
But they were still present, correct? They had not been without of distance of King, okay?
Correct.
And on September 16th, after being in the shelter for 23 days, as we were working to get King moved to Waverly Animal Hospital, did you feel that King had a much better demeanor since first arriving at the shelter?
He was the same dog as the same day we brought him into the shelter.
Well, you had actually said to me that when you went back and started sweet talking King, he wagged his tail for you, and you had reported to Waverly Animal Hospital that he had a much better demeanor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To speak further to King's behavior and demeanor, I would like to enter in a veterinary report from Waverly Hospital where we had King moved for boarding. We have no past relationship with this hospital. And within the report, they state that he was friendly. They did not need to muzzle the patient for the exam or vaccination. It was not needed. He was very excited but friendly. And that goes to speak of King's.
Well, so the way you enter an exhibit, you have to lay a foundation. It has to be appropriate foundation to bring it in under this witness, that this is not a question that you're bringing to, or you need Officer Jablonski's testimony for to lay this foundation for this exhibit. Is that correct?
Well, Officer Jablonski had testified that he was not a nice dog while in Ingham County, and this goes to show directly opposite, that his demeanor.
So you're trying to admit, look, okay, let me first get, what exhibit number are you talking about, ma'am?
I didn't get a copy of what the exhibit numbers would be, but I believe it's number, or it'd be C.
You said C?
Yep. It would say King.
I believe it's Exhibit K, Your Honor. It's the,
Thank you.
it's a letter dated October 1st from Waverly Animal Hospital, I believe.
No, that would be, it speaks to his behavior since he's been there since September 17th. This one at the top, it says Waverly Animal Hospital King, and it's a vet report.
Okay, so that Waverly Animal. Okay, no, this is a boarding and grooming as K. I don't think I see what you're referencing, ma'am.
Is it possible to screen share and I can show you the document?
Well, the court is in receipt of what you said you filed here, and that's what was provided to defense counsel. So.
Yeah, it's canine medical record, general exam.
We didn't receive anything that says canine medical record, general exam, ma'am. And I've given you some leeway. When you have a responsibility to make sure you serve a copy of any of your exhibits prior to the date of the hearing to the attorney for the Ingham County Animal Control. I did grant you some leeway, and I gave them to him today, but I'm not going to let you just start bringing new exhibits in the middle of the hearing. You would have needed to properly serve those so they can have an opportunity to review them.
Your Honor,
I have all the exhibits here that was provided to the court, and there's not one that you're referencing.
The other one that came from Waverly Animal Hospital that speaks to King's demeanor is the one on the letterhead from Waverly Animal Hospital, the one that the attorney made mention to, dated October 1st. And it does state that the staff has been able to walk him, feed him, and medicate him without any issues, and that he has not tried to bite any of the staff during his stay.
Your Honor,
Okay.
it's not appropriate for the witness to be examined about a letter from the animal hospital.
Well, I think I've already addressed that. This is not a question for cross-examination as to Officer Jablonski. So right now, ma'am, you're supposed to be cross-examining Officer Jablonski about her involvement and things she can testify to. If you would like to make an attempt to admit Exhibit K, because that's what that document is labeled as, you would have to do it under the testimony of either this Jennifer Raphael or someone else. You can't, Officer Jablonski can't testify as to this, and you can't admit it without a proper foundation, and it's hearsay.
Okay, Your Honor.
The person isn't, you did not subpoena us, this Jennifer Stuhler Raphael to court today, did you, ma'am?
I did not.
Okay, so then that will not be admitted because it's hearsay. but just moving forward, you're here to, at this point, you're able to question Officer Jablonski. I'll later give you an opportunity once Mr. Perone has rested for you to give your own testimony if you want to be sworn in under oath. This is not the time for you to present your evidence or defense. This is your time to cross-examine or question Officer Jablonski, okay?
Okay. And then that completes the questions that we had for Officer Jablonski.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Perone, is there any redirect at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Briefly, Officer Jablonski, was it your understanding when talking to Ms. Mize that, again, you previously testified that she was not an incident, a witness to the dog bite incident itself, correct?
Correct.
And then it was your understanding that the complaint that was made was she was reporting essentially what her daughter had informed her about the incident.
Yes,
And then it was your understanding that an ambulance had been called in connection with this dog bite.
yes,
Okay. And that it was your further understanding that Soraya was transported to a hospital in some manner.
yes.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, do you have any additional witnesses, Mr. Perone?
Yes, I'd like to call Yashika Mize.
Okay, Yashika Mize, if you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, can you please state both your first and last name, and I need you to spell it.
Yashika Mize, that's Yashika. Mize, Mize.
Thank you, Mr. Perone, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Mize, are you the mother of Soraya Bailey?
Yes, I am.
How old is Soraya?
Soraya 16.
Was Soraya at 5141 Hughes Road in the city of Lansing on August 26, 2021?
Yes, she was.
Why was she there?
She was there because her stepdad picked her up after a football game. He was later on that night going to get her sister at 10 when she got off work from McDonald's. So he went to get her.
And what's her stepdad's name?
Mario Harris.
Has Soraya been at the residence of 5141 Hughes Road before?
Very frequently. She goes there. She spends the night there. She's there all the time. She was actually there when they brought the dog home for the first time.
On August 26, did you contact Soraya by telephone?
Yes, I woke up, I FaceTimed her and I saw that something was going on with her face. I asked her what happened and she said the dog attacked her and bit her.
And then what did you do?
I said, I'm on my way because I noticed that she just had bandages on her face, but it was, blood and she needed medical attention.
Okay. What happened when you arrived at the Hughes Road residence?
I was on the phone with the police because I was explaining to the police that my daughter's been bit at this address. Can they come? And can they send an ambulance because I don't get along with Miss Andrews. I don't know her. All I know is that Miss Andrews was sleeping with my fiance at the time.
Okay.
And
All right.
that's
Ma'am,
why.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Did an ambulance arrive at the residence?
I'm just gonna, for the record, I'm gonna strike the portion of the testimony regarding her sleeping with the fiance. That's not relevant.
I'm sorry, but she's just destroying my character. So
Well,
she's always done.
okay.
Focus on answering the questions, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Mize, when you arrived, you did not enter into the residence, did you?
No, I did not. I waited
Okay.
in my vehicle.
Okay. And an ambulance arrived there?
Yes, yes.
And Did you and Soraya go into the ambulance?
Yes, we did.
And what happened in the ambulance?
The ambulance, they took off her Band-Aids and then immediately said that she needed stitching. They stopped the blood, and I told them that instead of getting a bill, I would take her to McLaren Hospital.
And
So that's what we did.
okay, so you took her to McLaren Hospital after she was treated in the ambulance.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what happened at McLaren Hospital as far as
At
medical
McLaren
treatment?
Hospital, the doctor came out and she looked at Soraya's face. She asked if the dog had his shots, because if not, she would have to get a tetanus shot. And Mario Harris, he brought up the paper saying the dog was up to date on the shots, so she didn't have to get that. She had to get 12 stitches, some stitches under her skin and on top of her skin, and she had to get pain medicine, which is morphine.
Okay. Did you take the 2 photographs of Soraya's face and head that are in the record as exhibits 1 and 2 in this case?
Yes, I did.
And you provided those to animal control?
Yes, I did.
Do you have other children, Ms. Mize?
Yes, I do.
Have
I
any
have.
of them ever been bitten by this dog, King?
Yes, my son Mario Harris was bitten on his finger by the dog that he showed me. And there's other incidents, but it's like you said, it's hearsay, but I've heard a lot.
Okay. I have no other questions of this witness at this time.
Okay, Ms. Andrews, you can cross-examine the witness about anything relative to this case.
Absolutely. Miss Nye, why did Soraya call her stepfather for a ride home from the football game?
He called him basically because I couldn't go pick her up because I was on my way to work. I missed that day of work. So he was already picking up her sister and he agreed to pick her up. And otherwise she was going to have to walk home.
Okay.
Mhm.
And in response to Mario Harris being bit on the finger, when did this occur?
This occurred in June. He showed me when we was on our way to Flint to my nephew's birthday party.
Okay. And do you have a photograph of that incident?
Absolutely not. I do not.
Okay. And you said there are other incidences that King has bitten your children.
Yes, no, not my children. He bit your son on the leg, and he also bit Mario Harris' oldest daughter.
And how do you know both of those things? Have you ever had a conversation with my son?
Okay, it's a compound. Wait, let me stop you. Let me stop you real quick because it was a compound question. So can you break those questions down, please? One
I'm
question
sorry.
at a time.
Okay.
What you asked her was a compound question. She can't answer a compound question, so I need you to ask her one question at a time. You can just break those down.
Absolutely. How do you know that King has bitten my son?
My son, Demarion Harris, told me. He also told me that your dog has killed animals in the backyard. Yeah, he also told
Again,
me.
Ms. Mize, this is hearsay, so do you have any proof of this?
Absolutely not. I just know that he bits my
Okay,
daughter.
no further questions.
Okay. Any redirect, Mr. Perron?
No, Your Honor, I have no questions at this time with this witness.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mize. Mr. Perron, any additional witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, I call Soraya Bailey.
Okay, is it possible to have Ms. Mize, Ms. Bailey switch seats just so?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Bailey, can I have you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you need to speak up. You don't know this, but I have a court reporter that's next to me. She has to take down everything that's being stated here. She's making a record of it. So she has to be able to hear your responses. I need you to also make sure you give verbal responses, no head nods or shakes, because we can't hear that. We can't write that down. No mm-hms and uh-hs. It's gonna have to be yes or no. Okay, ma'am?
Okay.
Can I have you state your first and last name, and then I want you to spell it?
Soraya Bailey, Seriabailey.
Thank you. Mr. Perone, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Bailey, were you at 5141 Hughes Road in the city of Lansing on August 26, 2021?
Yes, I was.
Was there a pit bull dog there named King?
Yes, there was.
Have you been at that residence before?
Yes, I have.
How many times?
Multiple times. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't.
And that's your stepfather's residence?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And that's Mario Harris?
Yes.
How long have you known this dog King?
Since they brought the first day they brought him home,
And how long ago was that?
maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember.
So you've known this dog for 2 or 3 years,
Yes, I have.
and you've been at the home many times.
Yes.
What happened on August 26th of this year?
Earlier that day, I went to a football game and my mom couldn't come get me, so I called my stepdad to see if he can give me a ride home. Well, when he came to pick me up, he told me he was taking me to his house because later on that night, he would be picking up my sister from her job and taking us both home at the same time.
All right. And
Um,
what about the incident with the dog King?
We were all in the kitchen and Eliana, her daughter, was sitting in her high chair. She was eating and I was leaning over. I was gonna play with her or talk or whatever. And King came up out of nowhere and he jumped on me and he was biting my face. And after that, I don't really know what happened, but
Okay. So just to recap that, you said that you leaned toward a baby in a high chair and the dog came out and bit you on the face?
yes,
Okay. Did you reach out toward the baby with your arms or your hands,
I was about to.
but you didn't get that far?
No,
Was the baby crying or screaming before you were bit?
no, she wasn't.
And where exactly did the dog bite you?
He bit me on the right side of my face, above and I mean below my eye and on the side. of my eye.
Did the dog's teeth penetrate your skin?
Yes, it did.
Was it painful?
Yes, it was.
Was it bleeding?
A lot, yeah. It was a lot.
Did the dog stay on you?
Yeah, he did and then my stepdad got the dog off of me.
So the dog was on you until Mario Harris took the dog off of you?
Yes,
Did anyone provide first aid to you?
yes.
And what was that?
Bandages, butterfly bandages and a regular
Can you
one.
speak up? I can't hear what you're saying.
The regular band-aids and the butterfly band-aids.
Okay. Did Mario Harris or Alyssa Andrews offer to take you to the hospital?
No, they didn't.
Did either Mario Harris or Alyssa Andrews call your mother?
No, they didn't.
Did you receive a phone call from your mother?
Yes, I did.
And what did you tell her?
Told her that King bit me in my face.
And did she come over to where you were?
Yeah, she did.
And were you placed in an ambulance?
Yes, I was, and they took the bandages off my face and told me I needed stitches and they wrapped up my baby. And I asked my mom if I wanted to ride in an ambulance or her taking me. And
Did Mario Harris say anything after you were bitten by the dog?
he told Alyssa that she needs to figure out what she's gonna do with the dog. He already knows that my mom is gonna do something about it. Do something about the dog.
Okay. Did Alyssa Andrews say anything after you were bitten by the dog?
No, she didn't say anything, but she did to my brother when he said something about the dog being took. She told him to shut up about it. Yeah.
Did you go to the hospital that evening?
Yes.
Were you treated there?
Yeah.
What happened?
They told me that I was probably gonna get a rabies shot if they didn't know, because they didn't know that if the dog was up to date with his shots, but my stepdad, he brought the papers.
Did you get stitches in your face?
Yes, I did.
Were there any effects on your vision temporarily at all?
Yeah, my eye was swollen shut for 2.5 days, and I could only see out of my left eye.
How does your eye feel now?
For the most part, it feels fine, but sometimes it still hurts. Sometimes it does. Like this morning, actually, I can't really see on this side of my face because
Are there any effects on your health from this dog bite incident?
no, not really. It's just it did twitch my eye where it was. But
Do you
only
have do you have scars?
yes, I do.
Is your sleep affected?
Yes, it is.
How?
I can't sleep on this side of my face.
Okay.
Before
Okay, I think you answered that question. I have no further questions of this witness at this time.
I just want to make sure I heard her testimony as it relates to the long-term or the residual effects. She said it twitches, there's still some pain, there's a scar. And did you say anything else that I may have missed about what you feel now on that side of your face?
the only other thing is that my eye is still black. It's still black.
You say your eye is still black?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Andrews, you can cross-examine the witness regarding any relevant information.
Okay, Soraya. We were in the kitchen and the baby was in the high chair and King was laying next to the baby in the high chair and you were approaching Eliana. I turned around to warm her up some more food and then I heard the commotion. And when I turned around, King was laying on his back on the floor. When I asked you what happened, do you remember what? Yes.
So when you ask your questions, that was more of a narrative and partially testimony. You can't tell her your version of events and then ask her a question. You can ask her a question, but it can't be based on your testimony. Okay.
Okay. So when you leaned in to get Eliana, could you tell me where King was again?
I didn't see King at all.
You didn't see King. Okay. And when I turned around, I had asked you what happened. What did you tell me had happened?
Just say it. Just speak.
I can't hear you, hon.
What did I tell you after he did me? Is that what
Nope. When I turned around after I heard the commotion, I said, Soraya, what happened? What do you remember what you told me?
No.
Don't remember. Okay. And you stated that we didn't offer to take you to the hospital and nobody called your mom. Do you remember your dad calling your mom?
No, he never called her.
Is there a chance that your dad could have called her and your mom has him blocked?
No. Because
That couldn't be a possibility?
Objection, she's calling on the witness to speculate.
I'm gonna sustain that objection. She wouldn't know if the mom had Madam blocked. She can't speculate. She said her testimony is that he didn't make the phone call, so you can move on to a different question.
Okay. And you also stated that I didn't say anything to you, correct?
correct.
Okay. So when your stepdad had went to the store to get some more butterfly bandages, and I was helping to dress your wound and put the antibacterial ointment on it, I didn't say anything to you the whole time.
You asked me, was the thing on my face folded or was it just out, like regular?
Was it on it?
You said was the pain loaded? Is that what she said?
No, it was a cotton pad that was holding on my face. She asked me if it was folded in half or
Oh, okay.
like.
Thank you.
Do you remember me saying anything else to you?
No,
Do you remember me saying, I'm sorry this happened to you?
oh, that was after. Yeah, it was after the bandages were on my face.
Okay, yep, but we did. We just want to make sure that we were very sorry that anything happened to you. Sarai, do you know, will you need any additional treatment?
Yes.
You'll need additional treatment? Okay. Those are all the questions that I have for Soraya.
Thank you, Mr. Perone. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, thank you. And at this point, petitioner rests. I have no further witnesses or evidence to present on direct.
Thank you. Ms. Andrews, do you have any witnesses that you wish to call, or would you like to be sworn in and give testimony?
I would like to be sworn in, and I do have a witness to call as well.
Okay, how do you want to proceed? Do you want to call your witness first, or would you like to proceed first?
I'll proceed first.
Do you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. You can proceed with your testimony about this incident.
Okay. So as Soraya had stated, she had called my fiance for a ride home on August 26th because her mother, we were told, would not pick her up from the football game and had asked her to walk home in the dark. My fiance, of course, having love for Soraya since she has been a part of his family for so long, agreed to pick her up. Due to the PPO and the other factors, my fiance had actually stopped by the house so that our oldest daughter could take Soraya home without incident with her mother. Bailey and Soraya and my fiance entered the home. I was in the kitchen with my 1-year-old daughter feeding her in the high chair. King was laying next to her on the floor where we were feeding. Soraya walked in and started talking to Eliana, who is my 1-year-old daughter. I turned around to warm up a little more food for Eliana when I heard my daughter Eliana start to cry. And then I heard Soraya shriek. I turned around within a split second of the commotion, and King was laying on his back next to the high chair with his paws up. Soraya was holding her cheek, and I asked her what had happened. At that time, she told me that she had leaned down to pick up the baby, and King must have thought she was going to hurt the baby when the baby cried, and King jumped at her. King released immediately, like I stated, he was never on Soraya's face, nor did when I turned around, he was not on her face. He was already on the ground in a submissive position. And then that's just the recount of the events. There are some additional statements that I would like to make, but should I make those at the end?
Statements in reference to this incident, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What are those statements, ma'am?
Well, I just want the court to know that as Soraya reached towards Eliana and Eliana cried, at that point, King was provoked because he thought he was protecting one of his youngest owners.
Okay, so that what you meant additional statements as to possible argument. So that sounds like something you should say for argument then, ma'am. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Do you have any more testimony regarding the incident?
No, that is it for testimony regarding the incident.
Okay, Mr. Perrone, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Isn't it true that Soraya was there when King was brought home for the first time 3 years ago?
I don't recall her being here.
But she has known the dog since you've had it, correct?
She has known him. However, since Eliana's been born, there's been a lot of tension between the two families. So she's only been here a couple of times since the baby has been in the house.
Okay. You were cited for an unlicensed dog in September 2020, correct?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and you were cited for this dog bite incident of August 26th?
Yes, I was. And the incident in September of 2020, it was just, I didn't know Ingham County law. I had moved from Saginaw County, and there, when you get the shots at the vet's office, you pay for the tag at the same place. So previously I had had a dog in Saginaw County. So when his tags were on him, I thought he had his tags, but they were really just his rabies tags. And then Officer Alexander, back in September 2020, had informed me the difference, and we had it taken care of right away.
You testified that you did not see the dog bite Soraya. Is that correct?
Correct.
You said that you turned around, and when you turned back around, you saw the dog on the floor on its back.
Correct.
Correct? All right. So you did not see Soraya Bailey reach toward your baby in the high chair.
I'm sorry, the computer
You did not see Soraya Bailey reach toward the baby in the high chair.
Nope, but I did hear her talking to her when I had turned around.
Did you tell Soraya Bailey or other people to shut up about the incident?
No, not about the incident. My stepson was making exaggerative marks about what could happen to King, and it was upsetting my other children, and I told him to be quiet about that situation, and I did not tell him to shut up either.
Did you tell other children that Soraya Bailey's injury was not that bad?
I never made any remarks as to what her injuries were. We don't discuss adult matters with our children in this household.
Is it true that King has bitten other children, including Mario Harris?
It is not.
Not to your knowledge.
Not to my knowledge, nor have my stepchildren or my son ever told me or made a complaint that he has.
I have no further questions of this witness at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Andrews, I'll allow you to, if you want to restate or redirect any of your previous testimony, you can do so at this time, or you can move on and we can call your next witness.
I would like to move on and call my next witness.
Okay, can you call your witness?
Mario Harris.
Okay, Mr. Harris, can you raise your right hand? Okay, sorry, the computer froze when I guess you moved it over. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Please state your first and last name and spell it for me.
Mario Harris, Mario Harris.
Thank you, counsel. You can, I'm sorry, ma'am, you can question him.
Mario, in the complaint statement and in the testimony that we've heard today, it has been stated that you had to get King off of Soraya. He did not release until Harris got the dog off of her. Is that true?
I didn't have to grab King off of her. Once I heard Soraya cry, I turned around and King was laying on his back. I grabbed him and I dragged him to the door and I put him outside in the backyard.
Okay.
Soraya was holding her face.
So, okay, sir, because there's something going on with your computer, your first part of the answer got cut off.
Okay, can you hear me, ma'am?
I can hear you.
Ma'am?
I heard you said that you grabbed King and put him outside, but I didn't hear what you said before then.
Okay. No, once I heard Soraya cry a little bit, I turned around. I was right there in the kitchen. I turned around and King was laying on his back on the floor. I grabbed him and I took him to the slide door and I put him outside. Soraya was holding her face at that moment. She was standing against the wall. She had her hand over her face. I grabbed him, I put him outside, and then I went straight to her to see what was going on with her.
So, Mario, did you have to pry the dog off of Soraya's face?
No, I didn't have to pry him off.
Okay. And the testimony here today has been that King has bit your other children and my son. Do you know that to be true?
No.
Have any of the kids in this house ever complained to you that King has bit them?
No.
When this happened, our youngest son, Demarion, came home and told us about a video that his mom made him make. Do you remember what that video was?
I'm going to object. I don't know that this is relevant to the case.
It's relevant
Okay.
to the fact that she stated that King's bit other children in the home.
Okay, so what you're referencing is a video you're saying that Miss Mize made, you're saying?
Yes.
Ma'am? And you're saying the video references Miss Mize saying that the children or the dog has bit other children in the home?
Encouraging the children to say that King has bit them in the home.
Okay, I don't see why that wouldn't be relevant, Mr. Perone.
I'm going to object. It's hearsay to begin with, and the video itself would be the best evidence of what it portrays. And unless we have that, I'm going to object to any characterization of anything on any alleged video.
Okay, it is hearsay, and we don't have the video presented as evidence today, so I don't know. You're trying to have this witness, ma'am, testify as to the video?
Not to the video, nope, just that Miss Mize had required her children to make this video. And
Okay,
then,
well, I don't know. Does he have personal knowledge that she required him to make the video? Is that your question?
yeah.
Because we can't ask him to speculate.
Did Dee come home and tell us that his mom made him make the video?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
how did he feel
then-
about making
Well,
that
then,
video?
okay, ma'am. Okay, well then the objection is hearsay. So that objection is sustained. That's hearsay.
Mario, do you want to give your full account of events that happened that day?
Well, I'm going to object and call for a narrative.
Okay, you can't ask him to give a narrative, ma'am. You can question him because he's your witness.
Okay.
But he's not to give a narrative.
Okay. Did Soraya call you for a ride home from the football game?
Yes.
Did Soraya say that she needed a ride home from the football game because her mom would not pick her up?
Yes.
Did Soraya say that her mom would not pick her up and told her to walk home in the dark? Were you
I can't hear you,
Yes.
Mr. Harris. I need you to speak up because I have a court reporter over here.
Yes.
Were you planning to take Soraya home, or were there other plans?
I was supposed to pick up Soraya at 10 o'clock, but I wasn't going to go out there. So I brought Soraya here to my house so my daughter can drop her off at home.
Okay. And Mario, did you try to, after the incident, did you try to call Miss Mize?
I called Yashika 8 times and I showed the police my phone of all 8 missed calls that I called her. And when we were standing at the ambulance with the police, I called her 8 times.
And is it true that you went to get additional bandages to care for Soraya while we were trying to reach
Yes,
Miss Mize?
I constantly cleaned and took care of it until the ambulance was here. And I'm pretty sure Soraya could attest to that I made sure that she was all right.
And when you were outside, who had requested the police to be called?
She had already called them, but I was telling them to call the police too. But Sheikah had already called the police.
Okay. And to your knowledge, even though in the report it says Soraya was transported via ambulance, was Soraya transported to McClure via ambulance?
No, her mother took her to the hospital.
Okay. And has Soraya reached out to you since the incident?
Yes, me and Soraya have a great, we had just kind of rekindled our full relationship again. So yes, she did reach out to me and told me that she just was trying to let me know that she wasn't really involved in this. And that's just, she's a child. She shouldn't be, but.
And has King ever showed aggression towards you in the home?
No, never. Not me. No, never.
Has King ever have multiple other children been in this home before?
Yes.
Like football players, our kids as friends?
Yes, my players are here all the time. My family comes down here. So yes, there's always multiple people in here.
And has King ever showed aggression towards them?
No, he hasn't.
Okay. How is King's demeanor when it comes to Eliana and Mariah, the youngest girls?
Anytime he sleeps by their bed, for one, he sleeps by the babies' beds every night. He's very protective of the babies, but he's not aggressive. But even if the baby start crying and I walk up, he'll get in front of the thing. He just gets any dog. But aggressiveness, I've never got that from him.
And that's all for my questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Perone, cross-examination.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Andrews, any additional witnesses?
No additional witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Perone, did you have any further argument?
Yes, Your Honor. County Animal Control has established on this record that the dog king attacked and bit a person, and that alone is sufficient for the court to order the forfeiture and destruction of the dog. The victim in this case was a child 16 years old and who has known the dog its entire life. This attack occurred in the presence of other children as well. Others may be at risk as determined by animal control. If that dog bite had been less than an inch one way or another, it's entirely possible that Soraya could have lost her eye in this incident. I think the issues that were raised here as to the bad blood between Yashika Mize and Alyssa Andrews have nothing to do with this case. The misunderstanding as to whether Soraya Bailey was transported to the hospital in an ambulance or by her mother is not material to the matter. The fact is that an ambulance was called and that the ambulance personnel advised treatment at a hospital. Certainly the injuries were severe. Not only was it an injury to an eye, for which she lost vision for a couple of days, it was deep wounds requiring stitches. There's after effects of these wounds as far as twitching of the eye, scarring, can't sleep on that side. This case is not about finding fault with the owners. They did provide some first aid, but it is about removing a dangerous dog. Animal control, under all of the facts and circumstances of this case, has determined and recommended that the court order the forfeiture and destruction of the dog. And I would ask the court to enter an order to that effect together with an award of costs that were incurred by animal control in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Andrews, you can make your argument.
Thank you, Your Honor. Up until this one isolated incident, King has a history of being nothing but a friendly and obedient dog. He is not a threat to anyone in this home or any of our neighbors, anyone in the community. The night in question, King was provoked when Bailey willfully attempted to handle the baby and the baby cried out in distress. King responded to that distress cry that was occurring in his own home on his own property, and this caused him to jump at Bailey in an attempt to protect one of his owners. Additionally, we are responsible pet owners. We have homeowners insurance with liability coverage. Bailey's mother has already started the proceedings of suing us for the incident, and I have been contacted by her attorney, Mike Larkin. The claim has been filed with my homeowner's insurance, and the attempt is that Bailey will be made whole again by the settlement. We have done the night of the incident, we did everything possible to get in touch with Bailey's mother. We cared for Soraya because she is a stepchild of Mario Harris. The injury, although difficult to look at and difficult to accept, is healing well, as seen today here in court and via her social media. We are thankful that Bailey's injury was not more serious. King is licensed, vaccinated, well cared for, and castrated in an attempt to be the most responsible pet owners that we can. Today, we ask you to consider the fact that there were inconsistencies in Miza's statement, that Soraya cannot recall all of the events 100%. And we ask you to make the punishment fit the crime as a mistake. There is no additional proof that King has harmed anyone else other than this isolated incident where he was provoked. And we ask that the punishment just fit the crime. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Braun, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Well, Your Honor, there was a reference in closing argument of the dog having been provoked, but there was no evidence placed on this record. In fact, both of the respondents' witnesses indicated that they did not see the actual incident. They did not see Soraya Bailey reach out toward the baby, and she testified herself that she did not reach out her arms or hands toward the baby, but only leaned toward the baby at that time. That cannot be considered provocation under the law. And again, there's no evidence from any other witnesses with regard to the actual dog biting Soraya Bailey on the face. Whether or not the dog is licensed or vaccinated is really not material to the ultimate outcome of this matter. What we have here is a dog attacked and bit a person, which is sufficient for the court to order the remedy that's been recommended by animal control. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to first address the issue of...
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Could I make one last statement?
No, you may not, because that means I would then have to allow him to make another statement. He's going to get the last statement because he's bringing the case.
Okay.
So the proofs and the arguments have closed. I'm ready to make my ruling. I want to first address the issue of the argument as to, or the defense of provocation. The testimony that's before the court, at least from the only person who could give a eyewitness account as to the incidents that occurred, would be from the victim, that being Sierra Bailey, and she's testified that she'd been to the house more times than she could count, that she had been around the dog multiple times, that the dog, she was there, there's testimony that she was there when the dog was first brought home. But her testimony was that she was leaning in to reach for the baby when the dog attacked or bit her face. The court's not satisfied that that would justify adequate provocation of an animal. And if the court were to even take that testimony that, or that argument, Ms. Andrews, that you provided, that it's an isolated incident and that the animal is just protective of the younger children, that would still put anybody at risk for a potential attack by this animal if the animal perceived that person to be too close to the children. And that's something that would be well outside of your ability to control. And you would not have the ability to keep anyone else safe from this animal. The other thing that the court has to consider is that we have the testimony of the animal control officer, Jablonski, who has taken the animal, was taken into the custody of the county. And the testimony is that the animal shows aggression while in the possession of animal control. And because of the aggression, growling at staff, which again, these are trained animal professionals that the animal is showing aggression towards. That is what creates a heightened concern for future behavior and future unprovoked behavior. And this is not a situation where the court can consider this just an isolated provoked incident. The court believes that based on the testimony and the evidence that was presented here, we have People's Exhibits 1 through 3 that were admitted. The exhibits demonstrate a pretty serious injury. It looks like either the skin was completely opened or there's maybe even a piece of the flesh missing, and that the area was extremely close to the eye. The argument of the attorney for the county that if it was just an inch or maybe even less than that difference, then the victim's eye would have been damaged, if not permanently damaged. I mean, that's very accurate based on the pictures that the court has before him at this time. So at this time, the court does find that this animal is dangerous. It presents a risk to the safety of the public. And the court will order pursuant to MCL 287.286A that the animal be humanely euthanized at the expense of the owner. There was an order provided here in my file. I will sign that order and date it for today.
Your Honor, you have an order?
It's not completed. It doesn't have anything as it relates to damages costs, but there was a blank order here. Would you like to put that information on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. There was a $65 cost plus the, I had one prepared for you, but yes. The $78 per day at 9 days is $702 plus $145 for the euthanasia and $65 for the filing fee.
Was that the same as the cost, the $65?
Yeah, $65 was the filing fee, that aspect of the cost. And then the boarding and the euthanasia.
So I have a total of $912. Is that accurate?
Yes, well.
Okay, court will enter an order pursuant to MCL 287.286 and 322, and the amount.
Wait, Your Honor,
ordered.
I'm confused where he gets the $900. $78 times 9 days is $702, plus the $65 filing fee is $767.
Plus
the cost of euthanasia.
$145.
Okay. And Your Honor, am I able to appeal this decision?
I believe this matter is appealable to the circuit court.
Thank you.
Any additional matters for the record?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. You're all set.
Thank you.